Hey, hello, how do you do? Shady Doorags here. Okay, so today was supposed to be the video on the view from halfway down, but BoJack Week took a lot more out of me than I thought. I'm pooped. I said poop. You see, this is my level of humor at the moment. Anywho, you intellectuals were so awesome during BoJack Week, I didn't want to leave you with nothing, so I'm going to use this moment to launch a potential new series. Hey, calm down. It's just reviews, calm down. I get a ton of requests from everyone to talk about certain shows and movies. Unfortunately, not everything I watch inspires a full-on analysis. But I didn't want to just ignore these, so I figured I'd make quick little reviews on them. I'm not gonna go saber spark on you guys and get into the budget or the history or anything like that. I'm just a guy talking about something he saw and how it made him feel. You know, like that book club concept I keep mentioning. And yes, there will be spoilers. If you go to a book club without having read the book, that's on you. Today I'm giving my personal perspective on MFKZ. MFKZ is about a guy named Angelino, a 22-year-old living in Dark Meat City. Because a literal black guy living in a place called Dark Meat City is not going to cause any jokes whatsoever. After getting hit by a bus, Angelino starts seeing weird things when he looks at certain people. He also acts way more confident than he should whenever his adrenaline starts pumping. To top it all off, these men in black start coming after him randomly, making Angelino top the most wanted list. Eventually, Angelino finds out that he's half an alien and that the reason the authorities want him is because the aliens actually control the government. Angelino, being half alien, can spot the difference between aliens and humans, and that's bad for the aliens. Also, his DNA could potentially make him more dangerous than the actual aliens themselves. The other half-breeds are either grown in test tubes so they have no emotions, or they're Luna, a girl who is just like Angelino but was kept away from humans for her protection. There's also this B story about luchadors who are on a mission to save the world from the aliens. So this was advertised to me on Netflix, and the art style immediately stuck out to me. Does Angelino look familiar to anyone? That being said, I don't think the art style helps the story at all. Angelino could have looked like a regular human and everything would have gone exactly the same. It's hard for me to complain about the art style because it did its job, it lured me into the show, but it doesn't really help. The best reason to watch this is the main characters. There are a lot of caricatures in this, but Angelino and his friend Viz feel like real young adults being forced into a crazy situation. Though the dialogue at times can feel really unnatural.
Hey, you feed the roaches yet?
Why can't they just eat what's on the floor?
Nah, the floor's nasty. Roaches have sensitive tummies. I read that somewhere.
How you feel about Angelino and Viz is pretty much going to make or break the movie for you. If you sympathize with them or characters like them, you'll like this movie a lot. Personally, I didn't sympathize with them. Not that I hated them, they're cool and all, but there's nothing that resonates with me personally. Actually, Angelino kind of lost me when he talked about wanting to get a better life and trying to be someone.
Look, there's another one. Make a wish right now.
What would you wish for, Lino?
Me? I don't know. I just want to be a somebody.
This is the same speech Disney princesses give, and like Disney princesses, Angelino isn't doing much to change himself, he's just complaining. And if you're not heavily invested in the characters, like I wasn't, that leaves you to actually pay attention to the movie, which in itself is not all that great. I get the feeling that this was adapted from like a comic or something because it never really takes the time to explain certain parts of the lore while over-explaining others. In this world, certain people look like monsters or animals, which is why Angelino doesn't stand out too much. He's still considered ugly, but he looks just like all the other short mutated people. This is never really explained though, which honestly, not everything in a story has to be explained if the story doesn't draw too much attention to it. But the entire plot is about aliens and evil creatures. Viz is literally a skeleton with a flaming head. Why should I be scared of tentacle monsters when that thing is walking around? Speaking of which, Viz is probably the most distracting element in the story. His head is constantly on fire, which the movie loudly acknowledges is a problem for the guy. But then later, we just see him wearing hats and bandanas, which don't burn. Also, he has no jaw. How on earth does he eat anything? Stuff like that straight up pulls me out of the immersion. The worst part of the movie is probably the tone shifts though. This is a story you're supposed to take seriously most of the time, and then it suddenly becomes self-aware of how goofy it is. Like, text just pop up on the screen as you're in the middle of a chase scene.
Where are those horrible tentacled creatures from? The movies have never been this insane!
There seems to be a bit of wokeness in the movie. The aliens are all these people in power. Their plan is global warming because only evil aliens would want to do that, right? The President of the United States himself is an alien, and when he's defeated, he's replaced by a black woman who isn't one.
When your old president freezes to death, you elect a new one.
No, you don't. It's called a vice president. Anyway, the movie probably didn't mean to be woke, but I've seen so many people try to insert this stuff in their stories, it's easy to see it where there is none. Alright, it's time for a bit of a rant because I want to talk about something that confused the crap out of me. So, towards the end, the luchadors launch a rocket into the sky to create a snowstorm. They somehow got the chemicals they needed to do this in less than a week. The rocket explodes in the air and makes it snow. I wanted to think this was just in Dark Meat City, but they showed the president being affected by this after getting off his plane. So I'm thinking it's the whole world, or at least the entire country. That tiny rocket reversed years of terraforming on the whole planet, and all the aliens freeze instantly. Angelino, for some magical reason, doesn't freeze instantly. He freezes slowly. Okay, I thought maybe it was because he was a half-breed, but they show the other half-breeds who were frozen in place. But anyway, Angelino is slowly dying because he's freezing to death. Freaking Luna just walks up to him in a coat. Oh, so a coat could easily stop the freezing process? So it's good that a winter coat is warm enough to stop you from freezing, but not full body riot gear. Why in the world is Luna walking around with a coat? You can't tell me she just bought that. It is in the middle of freaking blazing summer heat, and she is in a crime-infested neighborhood far away from stores that wouldn't even sell that type of coat in the first place. Was she just carrying that coat around in case it snowed? Did the luchadors tell her their plans so she went and got a coat? And as if that wasn't enough, Luna kisses Angelino, which somehow stops the freezing process. What? How?
My heart is warming up.
You did the same for me. Feeding on hatred leaves such a bitter taste. I'm quickly learning I much prefer the sweetness of a stolen kiss.
That doesn't explain jack! Okay, rant over. I think the point of the movie was about being happy with oneself. Angelino is an outcast and starts off the movie by saying he just wants to be somebody, but then ends the movie saying he never wants to become the monster inside of him, even if it means having power.
Fight Angelino, do something! Free your inner tentacle monster, dude! You have to!
I'd rather die.
All in all, I found this movie to be meh. I didn't like it too much, but I didn't think it was a total waste of time either. I am glad I watched it, but I won't be returning to it anytime soon. This has been Shady Doorags. So long, farewell, Auf Wiedersehen, goodbye.